Jian Ying, thanks for coming in.
Good to meet you again.
Appreciate the time that you've taken to share your story. So, this is a series of interviews we've been doing with national athletes like yourself. It's a chance for us to hear about the journey you've taken from youth to senior levels. And I think the youth athletes out there will appreciate some of the sharings that you will be telling us today. So, if you're good to go, maybe we can just start with when did you start water polo? How did you get started?
Okay, so I started water polo when I was Sec 1 as a CCA. So that is way back in 2004. Yeah.
How did you get started in that
How did
sport?
I get started? I think because one of my friends wanted to try out as a CCA, so I just joined. Yeah.
And what attracted you to the sport?
What attracted me? I think in general it's quite a fun team-based sport. I think it's difficult to put into words what exactly attracts. I think it's like naturally I just enjoy playing it. Like, some people enjoy playing football, some people enjoy playing basketball. It's a bit hard to put into words.
Okay.
It's just a sense of enjoyment playing the sport. Yeah.
Okay. When you started water polo, did you have a background in any other sport?
Yes. So actually, interestingly, my first sport was sailing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
So my older sibling also did sailing. So did my younger sibling, and I also did. Then when I went to secondary school, I was also doing sailing. So I did water polo and sailing together.
Oh, okay.
All the way until JC actually.
When did you do sailing? When did you start sailing?
I learned when I was 5 or 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I followed my older sister.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Then I did. I was in the national development squad also for Optimis.
Right.
Then secondary school, so I continued. But after I picked up water polo, I kind of lost interest in sailing. So I only did it for school after that. Yeah, I focused a lot more on water polo.
Okay.
Then eventually, I did it for school level until junior college. Then after I didn't continue. I mean, towards the end, I was hardly going down already.
For sailing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started sailing from at 5 to 6
To
learn. That means all through your primary school you
Yeah.
were sailing regularly as a CCA.
Yes.
And then you got to Sec 1, then someone says, let's go water polo. And it was like, that's fun. Hard to put into words.
Yes.
But I guess team sport has its own attractions.
Yes.
But you did both at the same time.
Both 2 CCAs, yeah.
As in you represented school in both sailing and water polo.
Yes.
All the way to the end of JC.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, how, from your point of view, what was it like having 2 sports on top of full study load? Wait, hang on. Where were you in school, in secondary school?
I was in RI.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in RI, academically rigorous, and then on top of that, you have 2 CCAs. What was your average schedule like during, let's say, Sec 1 when you were sailing, water polo, and studying?
I think for me, most of the time I spent was either doing sports or in school, like or hanging out with friends. Like after school, my free time, hanging out with friends is always in school. Like we will just play football or like go to the pool, water polo training.
Okay.
Sometimes before training we'll go down just to shoot some balls, that kind of stuff. So like because it's quite interesting. Because when I was talking to other friends now, they were like asking what do you do in your teenage years. I realized that, to be honest, during my teenage years I hang out a lot in school, just playing sports. Or after school I just with my friends. Because I would say my good friends from secondary school to junior college all like to play sports. So even if it's not CCA, like we enjoy playing football together as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And now when we are much older, we still try to play.
So what was your schedule like? I'm curious. How many times a week were you sailing, and how many times a week were you doing water polo? If you can remember your Sec 1, Sec 2 days.
Training for water polo is only 3 or 4 times a week back then.
Okay.
Sailing was probably 2 or 3 times. I cannot remember. Maybe 2 times.
Okay.
But so I was balancing both. But then towards secondary 3 and secondary 4, then I started to do more water polo. So I had to tell the teacher in charge to cut down. So I only went sailing once a week.
I see. Because water polo sessions went up.
And
you prioritize water
focus,
polo. Okay.
And I think I was performing better there also.
In water polo.
Yes.
Okay. What was happening in water polo that told you were performing better? What was the signal for you?
Like I was playing with the first team of the school, so
Okay.
I think that's one of the main reasons.
Okay.
I think I also lost a bit of interest in sailing at the
Okay.
point. Yeah.
So what was it about water polo that attracted you? Again, I know this is something hard to put into words,
Yeah.
but I'm just, curious to find out, what kept you going there instead of
think maybe it's the
National
friends
Sailing
also.
Centre.
Friends and it's team sport lah. I think maybe like you play a game, score a goal is more exciting for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the reaction to you playing water polo from, say, your teammates? How did they see you as a water polo player?
You mean my water polo teammates?
Yeah. Your teammates, your schoolmates, your coaches. What was the signal from them, that about water polo that kept you going back, to water polo?
I think in general, most of my teammates like playing the sport, so
Okay.
it is fun. I mean, liking training or not is a separate issue. I think playing the game, everyone likes it lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's always quite a fun atmosphere. Yeah.
Okay. And so if we spend a little bit of time talking about, how you balance sports and studies, what was it like for you? Okay, when you go into Sec 1, Sec 1, of course, is that big jump from
Yeah.
primary 6 to Sec 1. That's when you go from, 4 subjects to, how many did you take? 9?
I can't remember
8?
a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
What was your memory of balancing sports and studies at that time? How were you doing?
Okay, in secondary school, I wasn't doing very well, I would say.
Okay, what does very well mean? Not very well mean.
Not very well.
Because your standard may be very different.
At least within the cohort, I would say bottom 50%.
Bottom 50%. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Right. That helps to pitch it for us. Okay.
Yeah, the lower half of the cohort.
Lower half. Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew where you were standing.
Yeah, I knew where I was
lower
standing.
half. Okay. And being in the lower half, what was it like? What kind of comments were you getting from, say, teachers or parents or anybody about your academics?
I think in general, the teachers are just quite encouraging. Like as long as you put in effort, they are okay. So as long as you do your work regularly, yeah. I mean, I don't think there were really very negative comments. Just that, it's just that you could do better. These kind of things. Yeah. Parents' side, obviously they will also want to encourage you to do better. But I think my parents are quite understanding that it's not so easy to be in the top half, especially in RI.
Right. Okay.
Especially if I have other like activities as well.
Okay.
Then because I guess most of my friends, some of them do very well also despite being in sport, but some of them also are in the same boat as me. So I maybe I don't feel as much pressure if like everyone else was doing very well.
Right.
So I always have some friends who are also in the same boat. Maybe I'm not doing so well because they are not really studying as hard. They're always playing also.
So you had friends in the bottom
half.
bottom half who were accompanying you, so you didn't feel so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go back to your parents' reaction to you, was it more your dad or mom, or is it both? When
I think both are
terms
the
of-
same in terms of expectations.
Okay. What did they say to you that told you that they were encouraging in terms of your sport and your studies? What was it about your parents' reaction that you remember, looking back now?
Actually, I don't think it's really. I can't really recall anything that they said or what. But I think it's the fact that they are equally invested. As in, like as a child or like a teenager, when you go for trainings or that, sometimes your parents have to pick you, send you, and
Okay.
they're always willing to do that.
Okay, so your dad
So,
or
yeah.
mom or both were
Both
sending
depends.
sending you, picking you up.
So especially, I mean, water polo is not so bad because we do train in the school pool, and sailing is the one that is further.
Yes.
So if you want to pursue it, so before that, even in primary school when I was doing it, we trained weekends at NSC, which is in East Coast, which is quite far from where I stay. So I think to make the journey there every day, yeah, I think it's a commitment. Yeah, and then it's like there's nothing else to do there. So as a parent, if I drop my child off, I wouldn't know what I would do for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but they were happy to send you for training. They send you to school, pick you up after training.
Yep.
Okay. And in terms of how they viewed sports and studies, what was their attitude, as you recall?
I think in general, my parents are quite encouraging about my participation in sports. Quite supportive even till today.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they will travel to major games as well to support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they like a good balance. not really a just study kind of person. And both my siblings also did sports quite actively. So I think, yeah, in general, they quite encourage sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I recall during my A-level year, I had a youth competition in August, which was quite close to A-levels.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was considering whether or not I actually wanted to go for youth water polo competition.
Water polo.
Yeah,
Okay.
water polo. Then my dad said, just go for it, you can study after that.
Ah.
Which I thought
Okay.
which I actually found quite surprising because
Okay.
it was pretty close. I mean, August is very close to A-levels already.
So your dad says to you, it's okay, A levels is around the corner, but
He
just
said
go
you
ahead.
can study in there and you can study when you're back. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your initial reaction? Shock.
I was a bit
surprise.
surprised that he was still supportive even when he was so close to A-levels. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And was that is that something that he's done before in terms of saying, go ahead, take part in
Yeah, I think in
the
general,
games
he's
or
always been
take part in the
supportive.
competition?
Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of having siblings who are also in sports, what was it like growing up in a family where your siblings were also very heavily involved in sport?
Oh, is it like?
Like, is this super hyper competitive between the?
It's not.
How many of you? Three of you.
Three of you. But I have two sisters.
Okay, one
So
older, one
I
younger.
won't say competitive because you don't really compete each other.
Okay.
But I guess it's something that you do together. Like last time when we were all in sailing, we would have to go to NSC together. Yeah, and come back together. So there are things in common.
How much older is your older sister?
2 years older.
2 years. And then the one that's younger?
4 years below.
4 years. Okay. So you would go for sailing together
Yes.
for that whole period of time
Yeah, until I stop.
until you stop. Okay. I mean, if you talk about sailing first, at what level did you compete at in sailing?
I was in the training squad, national training squad for optimists, but
Okay.
I never went for like international competitions.
Okay.
So only in the squad.
And only in the squad. Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't go for any international competitions because
Not good enough.
you were okay. All right. That's what I wanted to find out. Not because you said I don't want to go and I want to concentrate on water polo.
No.
Okay. So with water polo, when was the first time you realized, maybe I have a shot at national team representation? What was your first national representation at youth level?
Youth level, I think when I was Sec 4.
Sec 4. Okay.
It's an under 18 competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about that time how you got selected, how you got spotted, how did it come about?
I think so. In the past, we had like centralized youth training, combined schools training. Then they were selecting a team for the under 18 Asian champs at
Okay.
that point. I can't remember if it was under 18 or under 19, some age group lah. So I was 16. Then I remember they only chose 3 16-year-olds, so we were the youngest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I think they chose based on we were playing in some internal competition like as the under 16 team in
Okay.
Singapore. So I think they look at the players from there.
Internal meaning just
It's just
in
Singapore,
Singapore.
yeah.
Okay. And so you were one of 3 16-year-olds
If I
in
remember
the
correctly.
youngest, the
Yeah,
3
so
youngest
it
in
was
the
quite
squad.
lucky also because usually in age group competitions like if it's under 18 competition, the bulk will be 18 or 17.
Sure.
But it happened that year there was another under 19 or 20 world championships also.
Oh.
So the better
okay.
ones went there. It was like clashing.
okay.
So there was chance for people like me to go in.
I see.
So that's the first chance I got. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know the reasons you were picked apart from the fact that there were spacers? What stood out for them that a 16-year-old got a chance to be selected for under 18 squad?
That one I don't know. You have to ask them.
You don't you can't make a guess.
Yeah.
Slightly immodest of you to make a guess. Okay, so what was the feeling like to be chosen for the under 18 squad? Do you remember now? As one of the 3 youngest.
I think just excited but also be nervous to see what the competition is like. I mean, before that I never had a chance to play international, so
Okay.
don't really know what to expect. Just go along for the ride. I think
Okay.
at 16 at 16 maybe you never think so much. You just go with the flow. Yeah.
What was the reaction of your parents? Do you remember?
They were excited for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And like to show that I think finally there's like concrete result from me choosing to pursue water polo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you went to the competition, where was the competition? Do you remember? Jakarta. Okay. So what was it like? Your first experience of a national level competition in an under 18 squad where you are one of the three youngest.
What was it like?
Did you get much playing time?
Not a lot of playing time, so, but it was quite.
What stood out for you? What year was that? If you remember now. Must be
2007.
2007, okay.
Yeah. I think one thing I thought was the crowd was quite loud. I mean, before that, you never experienced.
Okay.
Yeah. And then to see different countries' players, how like some of them are very big size at 16 already.
Right.
Yeah, to see the difference in level and the skill level that you can
aspire
to.
Who were you playing against?
Who were we playing against? I think that tournament we did quite well. If I remember correctly, we got bronze. But the champions were, I think, Iran.
Okay.
Then there was the usual. The top Asian teams didn't go. I don't recall Japan and China being there.
Okay.
But the Middle Easterns, they were strong. Like Kazakh was there also. Yeah.
So the first ever national competition is not even just at Southeast Asia level. You were at Asian level.
Yes, but it's youth level. So
yeah, but you are seeing Iranians for the first time.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan for the first time. What was your impression of countries like that? Or the athletes from those countries?
Yeah, huge lah. Yeah. Cannot believe that they are teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after that, how did that experience change you as an athlete? You know?
How did that experience change? I think just knowing like how much more there is that you can aspire towards, like the different standard that you can, like if people at the age can play at a certain level, then there's no reason why you can't. Yeah.
Okay. So it did not make you think, okay, maybe maybe I should stop. It gave you a sense of what is possible.
What is possible, yeah.
Okay. So what happened after you came back? So that's your O level year. Did you have
I didn't take O levels.
Okay, you had the IP. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the next level of representation after joining that under 18 squad? What was the next highlight for you as a water polo player?
Next highlight was probably I went the under 18 one again.
Okay.
The one right before A levels.
Okay, so 2 years later.
Yeah, as when I was 18.
Okay.
This time.
So, okay, maybe you can take us through that transition from Sec 4 to first year of A levels. I presume that is again another big jump.
Yeah.
Or was it not? Can you recall that time?
Big jump because maybe it's just boys being boys lah. So if you have IP and no O levels, you don't really study.
Okay.
So when you go to JC1, then you realize you're quite far behind.
Oh, okay. What told you were far behind?
Can see from your results.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think because like
what kind of results were you getting? I'm very curious now.
not good, I feel lah. The first year, yeah.
Okay.
Some subjects I failed lah, but the rest are okay.
Okay.
And I think there's a big difference between boys and girls lah. I think most of the girls study quite regularly from the True Train program.
Okay.
Then maybe just my friends the group that I hang out with, yeah. So suddenly realize that you need to buck up for academics as well. Yeah.
What was the reaction of your parents to your results when you were failing some of them?
I think at that point in time, I think they were okay because I think I would say maybe I was at JC1 I was a bit more mature to know that I need to buck up.
Okay.
So I asked them to get me tuition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's quite different now. Like last time in the past, at least my time, not too long ago, most people don't have a lot of tuition, I would think, as compared to today's youth. Yeah, and I think the fact that I asked them to get me tuition for the subject I was not there, I think for them, if I had shown that at least I was aware, so I don't think they were very hard on me. And it did help lah. Yeah, it certainly did help, yeah. Because when I was in primary school, I did go for one tuition before, but that was forced on me. I didn't want to go.
Okay.
Yeah. But then this time around, I knew I needed.
Okay. So you just came to the your own realization.
Yes, that I needed some help.
You see your failing grades. You realize, okay, you're in somewhat of a pickle, a bit of a
Yeah.
trouble. Okay, so you go to your parents. I need help. Okay, what was their reaction?
I think they're more than happy to find a tuition for me. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, maybe we can slow it down and look at your A level period. It's a crucial time. A levels are seen as an important exam, so you shock you don't have to take O levels. That's the best. But what's a week like for you during your A levels? What was it? How was it divided between class and then training for both sailing and water polo, and also if there's a competition, you're training with the national youth squad. Yeah.
Okay, so to be fair, by the time I reached my A-level years, I didn't go for sailing training yet.
Okay,
I only
so
went
that
for-
one's out of the picture.
Yeah, I only went for
Okay.
inter-schools.
All right,
Yeah.
sailing's out.
So water polo training, we train 4 times a week, if I remember correctly, until the season ended.
This is the school
school nets. Yeah.
training. Okay.
I cannot remember when the season was. I think maybe June.
Yeah.
About there.
Yeah. It should usually end A division. It would end
Yeah.
by May.
Yeah, around
Right.
around there. So we just train till then. Typical school day for them is classes in the morning till 3+4. I can't remember.
Okay.
Then our training days, training till evening. Then you go back and do your homework, and you repeat next day. Days with no trainings. I mean, either if you don't have much work to do, you study, or if not, you hang out with your friends, like what I did. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
So
yeah,
you
so
would-
that's the same.
You will only have what, 1 free
2 free days.
afternoon,
Yeah.
2 free days a
Because
week.
one of the trainings was Saturday. So I think 3 weekdays plus a Saturday. Yeah, so
Okay.
2 free afternoons.
What do you usually do with your free time during your A level years? Hang out with friends.
I only remember hanging out with friends in school quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And not that often outside. Yeah.
Okay.
Studying.
So the bulk of your time for each day was spent in school.
Yeah, I think because most of my friends were in school.
Okay.
We didn't really hang out outside. So
Okay.
I think that for me, there was no real draw to go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's not water polo training in school, you were just hanging out with friends
Yeah.
in school.
Correct.
And then when was the tuition squeezed in then during your
Weekend.
week?
On the weekend.
Oh, weekend.
Yeah.
And-
And Sunday.
And for how many subjects?
One only.
Just one.
Yeah, one.
Okay. What was the norm like during your time in junior college in terms of tuition?
I think most people have maybe 1 or 2 for their
Okay.
weaker subjects. I mean, there are obviously those that have more, they are a bit more anxious or a bit more
Okay.
demanding on themselves. Yeah, then there were also a lot with maybe no tuition at all. I think compared to today, is
Okay.
very different where everyone has for almost everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think back during that time, I mean, A levels can be a source of intense stress. What for you were the stressful moments? Balancing sports and studies, and then having tuition as well thrown in on a Sunday. What was stressful for you during that period of time, if you can recall?
Stressful for me. I think the last 2 or 3 months. So I went for the youth tournament in August. Remember after that, I totally stopped all the polo.
What was the youth tournament again? Was it an Asian level?
Asian youth.
Asian youth. Okay.
So after I came back, it's like focus on studies only. So I mean, there was no more school training because no more school nationals for us. No more youth training also because that was done. So I just focused maybe last 2.5 months to focus on studying.
Okay.
What was stressful for me, I think, is that prior to that, I have never studied so much in my life.
Okay.
Like every day, like I mean, all the time. Suddenly, I think for most athletes, when you stop training, like during a break, you suddenly realize you have a lot of time. And then you're like, oh, I have used all this much time to study. And then maybe for me, I was not used to it. Like suddenly I can study 6 hours a day when I never had before.
Right.
So it's like quite stressful in the sense that, just not used to it. So it's
Okay.
quite mentally tiring.
So that means, okay, that Asian youth tournament that you went for, that was in August.
Yeah.
Then what was the training period? How long was the training period for that tournament, the Asian youth tournament, leading up to it? Was what, 3 months?
I can't remember. Maybe about 2 months, 3
2
months.
months.
Yeah, not very long.
So how many times a week were you training at the national youth level?
I think at that point also not say a lot. Maybe three or 4 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means 3 or 4 times a week and going to class and then leaving you only the nights to do your homework.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times a week because there were other teammates that still had school training. I mean, if you're not in your A-level year, you will still have your own school training. So they couldn't schedule too many sessions as well.
Right.
Whereas for us, we were done with school training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were not involved in the school team anymore. So yours was just national youth training.
Right.
Okay. So when you were doing national youth training, school and homework, I presume, and studying, how was that? How did you cope? That would have been the most intense in terms of juggling. Or were you not studying at all?
I was probably not studying as much as I should have been. But how did I cope? I think studying with friends helped. Like having friends who like after classes, sometimes I wouldn't say hang out in the library because that's not where you really hang out. But half the time we were studying at 70% of the time. 30% of the time maybe we were just chatting.
Okay. And all this is in school?
Yeah, but at least it's good to have a group of friends who are doing the same thing as you. I think studying alone is quite...
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a group that maybe keeps you accountable as well, I find it easier to do it with someone else. So a whole group of us doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are fellow water polo players or just fellow sportsmen?
Yeah.
Okay. And all the studying, hanging out together was in the school setting?
Most of the time school setting. I mean, occasionally, because R is in Bishan, we go to J8. But yeah, usually I want to study under that. I'm not a fan of going outside. Yeah, I think the school environment is better for me.
Sure. That means you stayed in school for a pretty long period of time every day.
Yes. So even in the
because you'll get there at what, 7:30 in the morning?
Yeah, until the evening.
And what time will you leave school to make your way home?
So usually I stay until the evening, until my dad ends work and pick me. So from secondary school, I did that. So secondary school, before A-level, less studying. So what I do is, that's why I play football with my friends. After water polo training, we play football until evening. That's when all the parents end work and pick all of us up.
Okay. So get picked up at what time? Like 7?
6 plus.
6 plus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So your whole life was there?
Inside school.
Inside school. Okay. So then you go for the Asian youth, and then you come back, and this is really no more water polo, no more sport.
No more sports.
And then now you suddenly have 6 hours of studying a day in front of you. I mean, what was it like to do that for 2.5 months?
2.5 months. I think it takes some getting used to, and
it's very sudden, isn't it?
Yeah.
To stop all physical activity.
For me, I think it was not as bad because, like I said, I always study in a group of friends. Like we arranged to meet in school to study, etc. So
you did all that studying
fun. I mean,
in school.
You have breaks in between. Yeah.
Did you all still play football?
I think here and there, yes.
Okay. So it just sounds like even though there's no more planned trainings, you're still hanging out in school, studying with friends.
Yes.
And just finding a like-minded community.
Yes.
And not studying alone, which
correct.
You would not recommend anybody do, right?
I think everyone works differently. Some people can... I had a teammate who went with me for a competition. After that, he disappeared for 3 months.
Disappeared?
To study.
Like you never saw him in school?
Never saw him. But he did very well. So
okay.
Different people work different ways.
Okay. So you found that it worked for you to stay in school, hang out with your mates, your classmates, and just study together.
Right.
Okay. So how did the A levels go, and what the results? Where did that bring you after your A levels?
I think A levels went okay. Could have did better, I think. I mean, it's always better, but good enough for me to get into the course I wanted to do.
Which is?
I did law in NUS.
Okay.
Yeah. So, then the one thing I remember clearly before A levels was our JAC teacher told me that A levels is going to be the most studying you have done in your life. But it's not true. Yeah.
Why? What happened in university was worse? Is it because of the nature of your study or of your course?
Partially. Yeah.
As in the amount of reading you had to do?
It's more than... So I really thought that 2-3 months, because I mean, I mentioned prior to that, I would say I didn't really focus a lot on academics. So to get adjusted, to cram everything after like slacking for a few years, was a bit of a shock lah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think lucky I had that experience. So when you go to
Mm.
uni, at least I already know that I've done this before. Can be replicated on a larger scale.
Okay. What was your thoughts about pursuing water polo while knowing that you are in a very intense course like law?
Okay, so
What-
initially, to be fair, so I made my senior team debut when I was in NS,
Okay.
my second year of NS. So I mean, training during NS, I was lucky that I got a stay out vocation.
Okay.
Yeah, I was PES A and everything, but I was just lucky to get posted to stay out, which is very rare, I know. So at that time, training was at night. So every
Okay.
night I come out, go to training, and then during NS, I mean, you don't have to study, you don't have to do much, so
Mm.
very easy to commit.
Okay.
So
So you made your debut during
yeah,
NS.
2011.
How old were you?
20.
20. Okay.
Second year of NS.
Okay. Full debut. Full national team.
For major games.
For
Before
major
that, I
games.
went for like a men's tournament, but not like SEA Games. It's a World Development Trophy.
Okay.
In 2010, I went. When I first started training national team.
Okay. It was 2010.
2010,
10. Okay.
yeah.
Then.
Then 11, then I went for SEA Games.
Okay. When did you enter NS?
2010.
2010. Okay.
So I came out after I finished BMT and CISPEC.
Okay.
That was when I started. When I became postdoc. Then I went for
Okay.
national team.
Okay. So what was it like representing Singapore at the full national level for the first time? Can you recall?
I think the first time, in 2010 wasn't that bad because it's not a very high level competition. But when I first joined full national team for training, that was I would say rude transition.
Okay. Tell us
Because-
more about that.
I think partially because of the break, like A levels to first few months of NS, didn't really train. Only come out on weekends. So on weekends I would still go down, go back to RJ to play with the Asian team sparring. That's about all you get once a week.
Yeah.
Then when I finally could stay out, go for regular training. I mean, the
With-
jump is very big lah.
Right.
Cannot keep up. Speed was very fast. Everyone's very fast. Everyone's very big. Everything moving very fast. Like, you don't know what's going on. Yeah, the transition is hard lah, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm also lucky that one of my friends, who was my batchmate at RJ also, went in same time as me to the national team.
Same year as you.
Same year as
Okay.
me, yeah. So it was at least you had someone in the same boat,
Right.
both lagging behind. Yeah.
Okay.
So at least you're not alone. I think it's always easier if you are doing it with someone.
Okay.
Yeah. So we both continued. Then once you get into the hang of it, then you can. Yeah, so we both made our debut at 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
The SEA Games in
SEA Games, yeah.
2011.
So the transition was very bad. I think maybe 1-2 months. Then after a while, you get back to the hang of it.
So when you say bad, it was bad because you were lagging behind physically in terms of keeping up with
Basically,
the
you
senior.
cannot even keep. I think. How would I say? Like when you play the game, you're lost lah. Because the speed is too fast for you already.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're lost as in you can't keep the ball, you're out of
Yeah.
position.
I mean, maybe you're looking at the ball at one side, but actually next moment it's gone already. You're still looking there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how was the reaction of your seniors to a rookie like you coming in? What was it like? Do you recall?
I think I would say not very. I think because at the point when we went in, they were going to go to 2010 Asian Games.
Okay.
So it was also quite a bad time because they were right before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they were gearing up for Asian
Yeah,
Games.
going up for Asian Games. So I mean,
see.
they was like peaking at the point already.
Okay.
So to be peaking at the point, yeah.
And how did that clash
But-
with having two rookies coming on
I
board?
would say they don't really pay much attention because they are obviously focusing more on
Yeah.
the team that was already going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the way good and bad, you can slowly catch up on your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think helped you get through that very rough transition? 2 months, right? You said it was.
I think because at that point in time, I wanted to represent Singapore at major games in
Okay.
water polo, and I think getting a chance to train them is like a chance. Like that's your chance, and I just told myself, NS is the best chance to do it, to
Okay.
improve because you have no other priorities.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the best time to train. Like I think NS, no university distractions. Right or wrong, like you can just focus on training, then go to the army, do camp next thing, come back. it's quite a repetitive cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, easy to just focus your energy on the
Okay.
training.
So a stay out vocation was helpful in
Yeah, definitely.
helping you, recover and concentrate only on the training without
Yes.
any other distraction.
And right or wrong, probably you don't need to expend a lot of energy in NS at a stay out vocation.
Okay. And when it was rough, the transition, where you feel a bit lost and lagging behind, what was giving you the signal that you could actually cope and get to a level where you're comfortable? What was it? Anything that the coaches said, or is it teammates, or
I think that time
your batchmate? What was keeping you going,
I
as
think the
opposed to dropping out?
coach and team manager at the time were quite encouraging.
Okay.
They just like telling you to try, continue. I mean, cause they know it's early, like still early, so yeah.
Okay. And when you say encouraging, what was it that they said that really stuck in your head that you found encouraging, or was it?
I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But I do recall that they were encouraging.
I see.
In a sense,
Okay.
at least, yeah.
Okay. And then when did you know that, okay, it's getting better as far as you are concerned, that you are at a higher level, able to cope? What told you that you were doing better? As
I think
opposed
after
to,
I went for the first senior com, 2010.
okay.
I mean, we didn't send the main national team, so a lot of youngsters like us who just went in got a chance to play. Then obviously because also you play against international competition again, this time at the open level. Yeah, then maybe if you can, that you can play against them,
Okay.
so you kind of get more confidence
Okay.
to continue. Yeah.
Okay. So it's matching yourself against other senior teams gave you a
Yes.
sense that, okay, I can reach this level, I can cope at this level.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the reaction of your loved ones or your family to you making it to the national team? Do you recall?
I think my parents were happy for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely know they were very excited when I got to go for my first SEA Games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about the first SEA Games, 2011.
20, right?
What was it like in the build up to it or at the SEA Games? What stood out for you
So
from that
2011,
year?
I was still in NS. So
Yeah.
competing in training is not a problem. So same before the build up, we also increased to double. So I went morning, then went to camp, then came out and at night again. Not an issue because that time already. I think I'll still stay out. Just that I could get excuse to go into camp a bit later.
Okay.
Like maybe 9 o'clock. Yeah.
In terms of the NS side of it, how did you navigate the privileges or the permissions? What was unique in your circumstances? Because there's no special scheme for you, right? You just have to figure it out with your CEO.
That time, I think there was a special scheme you could apply for if you were
Okay.
stay in. But because I was there, I didn't have to. Because
Okay.
trainings were at night, so I never had to apply.
I see. Okay.
It's only when there was the morning training that I had to ask.
Okay.
So I can't remember the process, but probably I mean,
It was just settled within your unit.
yeah, because it wasn't a big thing. It's only not every day, I think 3 times a week in the morning,
Okay.
and coming in a bit later.
Okay.
And for us, it was on the days I remember that they have the morning run outside exercise. So then it's like, you're going to do it outside, right? You're doing something else outside.
That's right.
Yeah,
And yours probably
fine.
more intense.
So they were like, okay, just come in right after that. Yeah.
Okay. So as far as NS was concerned during that period of time,
I was lucky that it
It
was
was-
smooth for me.
it was smooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That my NS was. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know not everybody has that same experience.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was lucky to get a good posting.
And as a result, you could do the 8-9 sessions a week
Yeah, every session.
leading up to SEA
Yeah.
Games.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So SEA Games 2011, what was it like playing for Singapore at that stage? Because SEA Games is
Pressurizing.
high pressure, high recognition, high awareness.
To me, as a rookie, I didn't feel a lot of pressure because I knew I wasn't going to play much. And I could trust like the seniors to carry the team.
Yeah, okay.
So I just I would say there for the ride. And I didn't really play a lot.
Okay.
But it's a good experience to see because I remember that year we had some tough games as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to
So personally, what was your highlight for that SEA Games?
for me the highlight was when the last game when we won. I think.
Okay.
Then to confirm that. Yeah.
Okay. And for you, what was it that you did or contributed to that team? I know you didn't play much, but for you? What do you remember from that games?
I think what I remember was our game when we played. At the time, Indonesia was our closest rival. So actually, that game surprisingly, because they were our closest rival, I expected to play the least.
Right.
But I ended up playing the most, I think, because we had a lot of exclusions.
Oh.
So I had no choice.
So how much playing time did you get in
I
that
can't remember, but it was a fair bit.
Okay.
Because I remember at one point, I clearly remember I was thinking, why am I still playing? When the score is so close, like, it's a
Right.
right?
Like, why am I still in the water?
Yeah. And then I realized, oh, or like 2 exclusions, 3 exclusions, so no choice.
And then when that realization dawned upon you, what was it like being a rookie and knowing that you have to stay in the water and keep going?
Just try your best, I think. But I think if I remember, the game was alright. I think I played quite well. So after also, more confident to play at that level.
Okay, that must have been a boost, right, to your sense of self-confidence.
Correct.
Like you can handle yourself in a
Yeah.
pressurized game with the closest rival in a
Correct.
close game situation. Okay. So that was the first of 6 SEA Games, right?
Yes.
And I guess you will always remember the first of anything.
Yeah.
But then the year after that is first year of university. So we come to your
Yes.
university. That would be the next highlight, I presume, going to university after
Yes.
after the first SEA Games.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to NUS 2012. Highlight.
What was the sense before you headed into law school, like about sports and studies? Like how did you imagine it would be?
Okay, so frankly speaking, at that point in time, as in before 2011 SEA Games, my goal was only to represent Singapore. So
Okay.
I thought one time, everyone says law school is very tough.
Mhm.
I thought one time I'm done.
Okay.
I'll be done.
Oh,
So then when I went to law school, I was like, to me, my mindset always been, if I can cope, I will continue.
Okay.
So I just tried,
Okay.
and it was manageable.
Okay.
I mean, my results in law school also, I would say bottom 50%,
Okay.
but acceptable to me lah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as I get out with the degree, right? Then so I continued, and I realized I could manage that. I continued all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you bring us through, say, the first year, because that will be the first transition, right? You go in, it's a full load. Then you, like you mentioned earlier, that you realize the studying is a lot, the
A lot more,
readings
yeah.
a lot more than even A levels, right? Unlike what your JC teacher said to you. What was an average intense week like for you in law school while still training in the National Water Polo?
I would say is how intense it is based on your personal expectations. So I think for me in school, I've always had a not very good habit of cramming at the end.
Okay.
So throughout the normal, I will just do the tutorial homework,
Okay.
etc. But I will not go beyond that.
Okay.
So I always only cram during the exam period.
Okay.
And I think it helps that a lot of my friends from JC went to law school with me.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same group of friends.
The ones
So-
that you hang out with in
Yeah,
school.
so I can rely on them. And like there are a couple of like more hardworking and smart ones who are very helpful in providing us with notes. So I also do not have to do my own notes. Anyway, so actually I'm thankful for my friends who have always been helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, same group, actually quite a few of them who have been with me since JC.
I see.
Like even today at work, I mean sometimes when we ask each other like if there's an area that we are not familiar with, because everyone has gone to do different areas, right? But all still in law, they can always help each other. Like, hey, do you know? Have you done this thing before? Like, can you tell me how it's done?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we still keep in contact.
I
And
see.
The network still works.
I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
that same group of friends that you played football with, hang
Yeah.
out with, study in school with, you
Yeah.
found some of them in law school with you.
Yeah. So it's
in
easy
NUS.
transition, I would say.
So that really helped in
Correct.
terms of coping with law school.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were still doing your 8-9 sessions a
Well,
week?
6 sessions normally.
Normally.
Yeah,
Okay.
different.
Okay.
So in terms of like obviously, so I only have quite a small group of friends in school because I wasn't around much.
Okay.
Because I think the thing is uni schedule is different in the sense that there are weird timings for classes.
Mm.
You could have like late night, not like evening classes.
Mm.
and all that. But cause the time we were training evening, so I rowing to ask for my evenings to be untouched lah.
Okay.
So it's always just in the daytime. So usually after school, a lot of people stay around in school to do their work. But I'm always out lah. I'll go for training
in the evenings.
Yeah, so I don't really. I mean, some uni, I think most unis have a lot of activities. You know, like gatherings and parties.
Right.
Yeah, I hardly went for any.
Okay.
Always just disappear.
So if you were not in class, you were in the pool training.
Yes, or not. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of social life, it was sort of non-existent.
I wouldn't say non-existent. I mean, I still have my group of friends that I'm close to.
Okay.
I mean, I may not know everyone like everyone else does.
Okay. Yeah. How many hours of class did you have in law school? A week?
Wow.
If you had to estimate, because you were doing 6 trainings a week, right?
Maybe 6 to 7 hours a day.
6 to 7 hours a day times 5, that's 35.
I think.
Okay.
Because I remember correctly, our blocks were 3 hours a lesson.
Okay.
3 hours plus. Yeah.
So if you had 30 to 35 hours of class a week, then you also had 6 times 3 hours of training, 18 hours, of training. So you still had some chunks of free time. And it was,
which you're supposed to do your readings
and what was your situation?
So I didn't. So the law school, there's a lot of reading. They always encourage you to read everything.
Yes.
But I'll ask my hardworking friends, what have you read and what is important? Then ask them for the summary. Then I'll read the summaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
good enough to get by, I think.
So I guess my takeaway is better have good friends that you can hang out with and borrow notes from. So Jian Ying, you were mentioning just now that 2012 you had a major injury. Just maybe share a little bit about that.
Okay, so in 2012 I broke my nose during training. So I had to go for an op to fix my nose. Then maybe I was out. I think 3 to 4 months I couldn't enter the pool. Yeah.
So what was it like, having a major injury and then not training for such a long period of time? This would be your first prolonged period away from the game. Right?
So when I first came back to enter the water, obviously you have lack of fitness and all that. Take a while to adjust and get back. But I think at least for me during the time when I was out, I still went down for training, so you can do some land exercises, and just to keep yourself updated the team. I mean, because water polo is not just a physical sport; it's also tactical aspects. So as long as I try to go down so that at least I know what they're doing. So when you come back, you may not be able to keep up physically, but at least you kind of know what they're doing, what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So I still went down almost every day, I think, just to take a look. Okay. Yeah. So not the whole session. Right. Come at I will skip the part where they're doing their swimming sets or something because I have nothing to see there. Yeah, but just to keep yourself involved.
Usually being taken out of training involuntarily can be slightly depressing. How was it for you?
Okay, to be honest, because it's 10 years plus ago. Can't really remember. I would say it depends. I don't really recall being very depressed or anything. I think there were other things to keep me busy. Like you can spend more time on your schoolwork, or maybe you have more time to meet your friends suddenly. Yeah. Okay. Because luckily for me, broken nose is not something that I need to do rehab. I think if it's like a muscular injury or something that you need to do rehab, that can be a bit more challenging because you need to spend time doing rehab. And I think rehab is not the most exciting thing to do.
Sure.
So also needs a lot of discipline. You must hold yourself accountable to keep doing it. You may not get back at the same.
So you were not taken away from your training mates. You still went down every day just to keep yourself.
And there are a lot of things you can still do. Yeah.
Okay. So it was not total withdrawal.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the other major transition that you had was this transition from full-time study to work. Again, what was the motivation to continue high-level water polo training and competition when you went to work?
So for me, I think same as when I was during uni. I just told myself if I could manage, I will continue. But priority then was, I guess, but I was still more, I'll prioritize my work more. I mean, work really, like, I mean, the nature of my work, if there's things to be done, sometimes I don't go for training. Like, if you need to meet some deadlines, there's no choice. You have to stay in office. Yeah. But I think end of the day, for me, what I come to realize is that I do enjoy playing the sport. And I think I will not be very happy if I had to spend 100% of my time just working.
Okay.
So I will, that made me realize that I wanted to find somewhere that I can perhaps do a bit of both, even if it's on a recreational level, not fully competitive. So for now, still the same as what I've always told myself before. As long as I can manage, I'll try.
Okay.
Then it comes to times when I think maybe you can't manage.
Okay.
So for me, I think realistically for me, work will take more priority because that foots the bills.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'll always try to find ways to. Yeah, but in the sense that because it's a job, if the job requires you to do something during training hours, then no choice. The job is take.
So you were prepared to forego training, but otherwise, if you could, you would still go for the up to 6 sessions a week of training. Because I mean, law is notoriously a job with long hours, right? How do you not put in those hours and still do well?
So it's difficult, I would say, almost impossible. So when the deadlines, they're deadlines. You cannot compromise. But other than that, you can work around it. You can work on weekends.
Okay.
You can start earlier. You can do other things. You can work over lunch. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, you can do a lot of other things lah. But I mean, when the deadline is coming, then no choice lah.
What was the reaction like to you pursuing water polo while being a lawyer? What was the reaction from people around you, your colleagues, your family? What do you remember from that first year?
First year, I think my parents in general are always okay with me pursuing sport as throughout my life. I think work-wise, it really depends on your employers and your colleagues. I would say safely that every employer expects you to put your 100% into the work.
Okay. So how was your employer's expectation?
As long as you get your work done, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the attitude and that was the understanding.
Right.
Okay.
So I have employers who are more understanding. So like towards major games, I tell them this period, I have major games coming. If we could like kind of make sure that I'm not anything major in the build up, then I'll make up for it when I'm back lah. So maybe major games, then because I'll be away anyway, so maybe that period I'll try not to do so much. They'll try to manage, and then you pick up the slack when you're back.
Okay. And how did your colleagues react to these accommodations for you?
I mean, as far as I know, they're okay. I mean, in the past and now,
Okay. So you've had cooperative colleagues who are willing to give and take with you. And
I think if you help them back when you're so like
how did you help them back?
So I think for myself, like post-season, let's say in like December, this kind of periods, holiday when everyone's away, usually because you use all your leave for competitions, right? You'll be the only one left in the office. So those are the periods where you do more. Even though there's also lesser to do. Okay. So you help out the others by because everyone's out.
So you are the Christmas guy.
Yeah.
Ask Jian Ying.
Because I won't be on leave. No more leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe Jian Ying, we can just close off this whole interview by just talking about the issue of your sense of identity, your athletic identity, and all the other things that made up your life. I mean, when you first started water polo at 13, and water polo became a much bigger part of your life at that age. How did you see yourself at that time when you were 13, coming into Raffles first year? Who was Koh Jian Ying? If you were to describe yourself back then, as a student athlete, who were you? Like, were you 70% water polo, 20% sailor, and 10% Raffles institution?
I think,
student.
To be honest, at 13, I have no sense of self-identity.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just very naive and clueless, go with the flow.
Okay.
Probably at 13, I never thought about where water polo is going to take me,
Mm.
or what being in school was like. To be honest,
So when did it become clearer for you? Yeah, that who you were, the emerging Jian Ying identity.
I think when 16, 17.
Okay, so what was the identity at 16 and 17 for you? How would you describe yourself then?
Someone who I would say fairly successful in terms of sports and studies. I mean,
Okay,
relatively.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a degree of comparison.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And which, if you had to like proportion, which part of it was the stronger for you, the sport or the study, or that is not the right question?
If you ask me at 17, I would say the sport because my studies weren't good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when people say, "Oh, Jian Ying, the water polo player," is it at 16, 17? Was
Yes,
that what
more
you were
likely.
known for?
Yeah, more likely than for my studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you got older, you reach young adulthood, you're going into law. Being a law school student, I'm sure, did that change your sense of who you were to yourself or to other people? How did your identity evolve from 17 to say 21, 22?
I think maybe at uni not so much, but when you start work, I think the profession, in good or bad, carries a certain stigma and reputation, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Like people are impressed either in a good or bad way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the common things that a lot of people are surprised is how you manage to cope through university and work lah.
Cool.
So
in terms of
managing both
sports and study.
Yeah. So I think in terms of like identity, then you start to realize that actually, maybe there is, how I say, maybe there are others who will look up to you in a certain way, like knowing that you could that you are, I would say that you have managed to navigate being a student athlete quite successfully. Because I mean, relative degree of success. So like I said, for me always, I'm quite realistic knowing that it's very tough to get very good grades.
Okay.
At the same time, so to me, as long as I'm happy with what I've achieved, I think that's acceptable. Like, I mean, some people want to represent Singapore and yet be on this list.
Okay.
To me, I know my limits. And there are people who have done that also, I know.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think it's just a matter of, at the end of the day, whether or not you're happy with what you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for me, for identity, I'm quite satisfied with the fact that I've done both. Yeah. And I'll say comfortable in both.
Okay. I guess I'm curious, how did you calibrate your expectations for your studies? Was this something that...
I think because all along I was not a very high performing student.
I see.
So I didn't have that forced into me, like, you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also think like it's the company you keep.
Okay.
So a lot of my friends are, I would say, more playful bunch. They also like sports and all that.
Okay.
To them, I would say, I mean, not that they are slackers or anything, but the academics is not their main.
Okay.
They do not derive the greatest amount of satisfaction from doing well academically.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was just one part.
Yeah, just one part of their life.
Okay. This group of friends that I've been hearing, we're talking about what, 5 to 10 people, 2 to 3 people. What are we talking about?
5, 6.
5, 6 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's the company you keep, and so for these 5 or 6 guys that you hang around with most of your life,
I think it helps a lot to, I would say, to help, to get by with any difficulties and things. So like I say, it's studying, like even work. Yeah.
Okay.
Like even work is like if you have tough deadlines, long hours, always easier to do with a colleague who you're friends with, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that when you started working, then that's where the identity as a lawyer became more salient to you. Like,
yeah.
People were...
Before that, it's just university course. You just want to finish it. You get a respectable grade.
Right. Okay. Before that, it was just, I'm a student athlete, just doing what I've always done since Sec 1, so to speak.
Yeah, correct.
But being a working lawyer was a change, a major change in how people saw you.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you think about, you know, the next few years, what's your hope in terms of your sports, in terms of your pursuit of high performance water polo?
Myself individually, or
Yourself, yeah.
I mean, I'm quite old lah, so in terms of
How
high
long more?
performance, I don't know lah. See physically also, and yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I still think at regardless of, I won't say regardless of age, but I would say at this age,
Okay.
there's still room for improvement. I would
Okay.
say.
What's your age now?
32.
32. Okay.
Yeah, like to be frank, water polo in Singapore, our level is not great compared to like world class athletes. So there's always room for improvement. There's a lot of things you can still learn and improve on. So for me, what I look for most is just improving. It's not a very, I would say, quantitative goal in a sense. It's just how much we can develop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at 32, veteran of 6 SEA Games, where the average would be about what 4, right? I think you mentioned that most
Maybe,
people
2 or 3
SEA Games. This is a certain longevity that's quite rare. So what's keeping you going? I don't think anyone will fault you for stopping. After 32.
I think for me personally, I enjoy playing the sport. That's the main thing. Like I enjoy competing. I may not always enjoy training, but I think I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think training needs to have a certain degree of difficulty.
Sure.
Yeah, and
otherwise it's not called training.
Yeah, that's not called training. So you can't hate it. You can't hate every training, but it's normal, I would say. Yeah. Okay. So I think mainly is I really enjoy playing. Like that's why I said even it come a point in time where I cannot play competitively, I can't find a time to play competitively, I can foresee myself still playing recreationally. Yeah.
So at age 32, your sense of identity, what would it be now? It's lawyer 80%, water polo 20%. How would you describe yourself now?
I think 50-50.
50-50. Yeah. Okay. So sports still remains a big part of your life. Water polo still remains a huge part of your life.
Quite a big part, yeah.
Okay. All right, Jian Ying, thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. And I think the upcoming youth athletes will appreciate your sense of perspective, in balancing sport and studies. And I think there's a lot of wisdom there in keeping your own standards and not sometimes worrying about other people's standards. Whether it's especially in studies, where it can be a huge source of stress in Singapore. Yeah. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.